In canal irrigation, be sure to learn the name of these states, and there is a table that is given in the book. Also, please go through it. Let us go through the tank irrigation now. Tank irrigation is more used into the region of South India. That is because the natural depressions that already exist there on the surface of the earth, and the underlying hard rocks, they do not allow the water to pass through it, to go through it. Now, what are the conditions that is necessary for building up of the tank irrigation? The area in the peninsular India that is uneven with many natural depressions, then the underlying rocks which are impervious, so it will not allow the water to seep through it, and peninsular India, it receives monsoon type of the climate, so the tanks, they can collect water in it during the rainy season and also help in raising the water table level. The advantages of the tank irrigation, it includes that it is cheaper than any other form of the irrigation. Water can be collected and used in it in the dry season, and it is very difficult to build the canals in Deccan Plateau because of the quality of soil, which is very hard to dig, and the tank water that can be used for the domestic purposes in the villages as well. And there is the absence of the perennial rivers in the South India, so tanks, they can provide the source of water during the dry season. Now, what are the disadvantages of the tank? They are very shallow. Large amount of the water that is wasted in evaporation because the temperature that remains high throughout the day. Now, tanks, they are non-perennial in nature and they dry up during the summer, and they use up the large agricultural area which otherwise could be used for planting out the crops. Now, what are the areas? The areas, they include Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Tamil Nadu, while in the North India, in the states of West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Let us go through the well irrigation now. Now, this is the ancient of the technology supplying the water through the well to the fields that we have been using in our country, and nearly 40% of the irrigated area in India, that is under the well irrigation. Now, what are the favorable conditions? To dig out the well, water table level, it should be high, the ground, it should be soft rocks, and the most popular area where the wells, it should be dug, that is along the river beds. Now, there are two types of the wells. One, that is the surface well, the another one, that is the tube wells. So let us go through the surface wells or the ordinary wells one, also otherwise known as the kacha wells. Surface wells, they are the unlined wells, they are the kacha wells. So they are normally constructed where the water table level is high, and these are not lined out by the bricks or cement, so it is very cheap to dig, and for a longer period of time we have been using these type of the wells. The line wells, they are also known as the pakka wells, that has been done with the cement or bricks. They are generally covered and are safe for consumption as well. The ancient form, common methods that are used for the irrigation, they are the Persian wheel or rihad, that is pulled up by the bullocks or the buffaloes, and in the desert region, even the camel that is used. The other methods, they are mahol, pikulan or dhinkali. Advantages of the well irrigation, it includes that it is one of the cheapest source of the irrigation and very simple to dig out the well. The only requirement is that the water table, it should be high enough. Then it is independent source of the irrigation. Whenever the necessity it is there, the well, it can be used up. The farmer, they have to pay for the use of the canal irrigation. That is not so with the well irrigation. But disadvantage is it is also there that the surface wells, they are not deep enough, so they get dry during the summer. They can leave the mineral content behind, which turns the water to be brackish or salty in nature. The water then cannot be used up for the domestic or for the agricultural purpose, and these sort of the wells, they irrigate a very small. Now, well irrigation is very popular in northern plains, especially in the states of UP, Haryana, Punjab and Bihar. A tube well irrigation, a tube well is basically a bore well which is very deep, dug into the ground with the help of the drilling machine. It runs manually as well as with the help of the electricity. Now the conditions that are required for the tube well, that the water level, it should be high with the perennial water supply, that is throughout the whole year, and the groundwater, it should be soft in nature, it should not be of the hard water. And the area, it should get the good quantity of the rainfall so that the groundwater, it is replenished, it is maintained. And the advantages of the tube well, that they are useful during the drought conditions, and nearly 1/5 of our area that is irrigated under the tube well irrigation. They do not cause any sort of the pollution as well. Advantages include that only the limited area it can be irrigated as compared to the canal, which can irrigate a very larger area, and farmers, they have to spend the money, regular supply of the money that is also required to maintain the charges of the electricity or the diesel to run it, and it is not suitable for the areas of the brackish ground water. The areas, they include Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Haryana, but it is also popular in Gujarat, Andhra, Telangana, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and West Bengal. Now let us go through the modern methods of the irrigation. The first one being the sprinkler irrigation. Now sprinkler irrigation, it means, now in sprinkler irrigation, water, it is supplied in the form of a spray. The top end of the rotator on the rod, it moves out and then supplies out water to the fields. And the advantage, it include that the water, it is less wasted, conservation of the water, it takes place, and it is best suitable for the arid and the semi-arid area. Water management, it can be done. The disadvantage, it include that there is the high cost of setup and operating the appliance. Not all of the water it gets used up, but much of the water it gets wasted also. Saline water, it causes the problem. The other method, that is the drip irrigation method. Now in drip irrigation, water, it is taken directly to the roots of the plant or the trees, for which the plastic tube that is utilized, which has small holes in it, through which the water, it keeps on dripping on a regular interval. So the name drip irrigation that is given. The advantage, it is that fertilizer and nutrient loss, that is minimum, and the reduced amount of the leaching that takes place. The water, it is highly used out and managed out in the correct manner. Water that is not wasted out. Disadvantage, that the initial cost, it is much more, and even the pipe, it can get burst because it is in the sun throughout the whole day. Then we have the next one, that is the bamboo irrigation system. Now bamboo irrigation, northeast portion of our country, especially the state of Meghalaya, they have been utilizing this form of the irrigation for last 200 years old, where the bamboo, it grows over there naturally in the forest. So they take it, they cut it off into half, and then they join to make it as the pipe. So nearly 20 liter of the water, it enters through the bamboo pipe system and is transported over the 100 of the meter. Now it does advantages that it does not require any sort of the fuel or the power. Then it can be implemented in the region where bamboo that is freely, readily available. Now these were few of the examples of the irrigation systems.